Welcome back everybody, this is Rangel again from Image Ballroom Dance Academy here in Dallas, Texas. Welcome back in another episode with tips on how to improve your dancing. In today's episode we're going to be talking about the building blocks and methodics on how to improve your dancing and simplify the process of learning. Okay, so let's get started with our building blocks. The purpose of this video is to simplify and eliminate a lot of frustration, and another way of showing you how dancing can be in a very structured way, like everything else you can learn in an easy step-by-step structure. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the building blocks, and starting with the smallest one of them, this is going to be your body actions. In a little bit we're going to be discussing more in depth. After body actions, the next thing we're going to learn is our steps and walks, which later on are going to build our figures. And the last thing that we're going to be talking about is the biggest building block, and that is going to be your choreography. So let's find out what is the smallest building block, the body actions. The first building block, that is going to be our actions. We have foot actions, we have leg actions, we have hip actions, sometimes they call them reactions, and we have upper body actions. So let's start with examples about foot actions. We can have our feet swivel. We use this usually in swivels, hip twist, pivots. Swiveling action, swiveling action, swiveling action. Okay? Another type of a foot action can be releving. We can go up or we can go down on our foot. And of course we're going to be using our feet when we're pushing from one step to the other, using the slow unfolding of that foot with a control, with a high ankle. So this is our examples for foot actions. We can have our leg actions. Our legs, they can be straight, they can be flexed, and they can be locked. And actually there are 5 different ways of tension that we can go through our legs. So the position of a straight leg is when you're standing and you put your weight over the leg. From here you can straighten the leg, you can engage more your quad muscles and your thigh muscle and your hamstrings to make that leg straighter. And you can go into a lock leg. As you notice, we don't really use locked legs that much to do that straight knee action, because from here that pushes our hips too far out. We can also have our flexed knees or soft knees, where we have again some muscle tension, or we can have our bent. This is the deepest out of the leg actions. From there, as I said, we can do a hip action, or also we call it a hip reaction, because if we do a good foot action and a good leg action, then the hip most likely is going to go in the correct direction. So we have the pendulum of our hips. This is like grandfather clock. We're going to be using the pendulum action, which is connected to the weight transfer and the so-called settling. Also, we can have a rotation. Rotation is when we use the inner part of our thigh to rotate our leg outwards, and usually we use this to collect our feet if we want to initiate a step or change of direction. So this is our lower body action. So let's talk about the upper body. What can we do with the upper body? We can twist upper body from side to side, or we can stretch our upper body. The first one is called the country body movement. So we're going to be twisted. This is when we have a leading side. We're going to be using either our rib cage, or if you're a more beginner dancer, sometimes we say your chest or your shoulder. And we can be doing a sway in our body. Swaying actions, we're going to stretch my side, not only from side to side my body, but it can go also side and forward and upwards, side and forward and upwards. We use this quite a lot in smooth and in ballroom. So this was the smallest building block, the body actions. Okay, so now we know the body actions. We said this is the smallest one out of the building blocks. What is the next one? Well, these body actions are usually related to walks and steps. And the difference in between walks and steps, simply we can explain. When you have a change of direction, most of the time you're going to be taking a step. That is going to be a partial weight. When you have a consecutive steps in the same direction, either backwards or forwards, those are going to be walks because you're going to be committing a little bit more weight towards the leg. So from here you can take another step or another walk in that next direction. Steps is going to be, as we said, partial weight. So let's say we have a side step. From here I'm going to be changing my direction, so I'm not going to go completely changing, going all the way to the side with my weight, so I don't fall when I have to pivot my foot, and I can change the direction with balance. So this is going to be our steps and walks. In our walks we can have the regular walks, we can have the delayed walks, and those fall into under another subcategory which we're not going to discuss right now. But a simple delayed walk is produced to create a change of speed and usually syncopates our timing. So if I want to produce a delayed forward walk, I'm going to be delaying my step forward. If that usually is on count, let's say 2 in rumba or cha-cha, I can go 2 and I can syncopate, and 3 to produce that change of direction or that syncopation. So that was the second building block, steps and walks. The next one, number 3, after body actions and steps and walks. Now all this builds our figures, and for each dance we have the different figures. For example, in rumba we can have hockey stick, alemana, we can have fan, we can have the back basic. Usually in the rule book, in the technique book, they are written usually on which foot you start, how much time they take, how many bars of music, and what is the direction. So timing and direction are the first 2 things that you're going to learn, and some maybe basic technique or mechanic on how to execute. So the different figures, they might look like this. For example, if I go and I do going into hockey stick from a fan position. So it's going to tell you that you start with the weight on your left leg, you're going to close your right foot towards your left one on count 2, you're going to replace with a step forward 3, and you're going to do 4, 1, and on count N, you're going to pivot slightly to the left. From here you're going to go with a forward walk on 2 with the left, forward walk turn 3 with the right, you're going to finish on the right foot on count 4, 1. So the description of that figure took 2 bars of music, so 2 times we counted 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and that was our fan going into hockey stick when we used step under the body, walk forward, another walk forward with a slight pivot, another forward walk turn, and a backwards walk with the left. So you can see the description of how we do the walks versus the steps, and of course on top of that we can put all the actions, the settle of the hip, the rotation, the stepping, again the pendulum action, the rotation, the stretch of the rib cage. All these are the body actions. So now we know actions, body actions, we know steps and walks, and we have our figures. Okay, we're at the end. We know our body actions, we know the steps and walks, we know a little bit about the figures for each dance, and now all this leads to our choreography. So of course each student and each dancer is going to fall under a different category. If you're more beginner, probably you're going to be doing a bronze figures, choreography. If you're a little bit more advanced student, you're going to be doing silver or closed gold. If you're a really advanced student, you're going to be dancing an open gold choreography. And we as professionals, of course, we combine and we use some basic elements, and of course we do some more sophisticated versions of these elements. But in the end of the day, when you guys are structuring your choreography, when you're learning choreography, what is going to make it really easy is to understand and find these separate building blocks and learn when one figure starts, where it finishes, what kind of steps or walks are involved into that step, and also after you learn all that, then worry about the different actions. We always recommend, the number one thing is know your steps and know your timing. In other words, know your choreography. If you want to go further, then learn the walks versus the steps. If you want to go even further, try to find the different body actions. So that way, it's a little bit more systematic and you're getting less confused into learning your dance. Hope that was helpful, and see you in another episode with tips on how to improve your dancing. Thank you very much and take care. Bye bye.